Can't do it.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our roundtable today. It's Friday, April 16th, and I've been going live twice a week to undergo the different celebrations the month of April has to offer. Today's an especially interesting day because we're going to talk about National Jazz Awareness, and we're going to be talking with performers and singers about their experience with jazz, what they do within the profession, and how COVID has affected jazz performers and jazz musicians. So again, thank you everybody so much for watching and for joining and for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Monday we're going to be celebrating National Couple Awareness Month. So that's going to be a really, really interesting roundtable with different couples to talk about their experience of being married, being together, or having a different type of relationship. So without further ado, I want all of our panelists to introduce themselves. I will start and introduce Alan. Alan, tell us where you're from, what you do, where you hang out, and a fun fact about yourself.
Okay, my name is Bat Allen Palmer, and I'm a musician, composer, educator, and I'm also the founder of the United Institute of Music, Science, and Arts. And it's great to be on your show, Elektra. And I'll tell you a funny story. I was going to hire you, but this is like my interview with you. So I said, okay, let's just do it because it's like this music is improvisation. And so it's good to be here with you guys.
Tell us a fun fact about you.
A fun fact. I thought that was fun. You know,
You're gonna hire me?
Pretty fun. I didn't know what this. Usually, lawyers, when I deal with lawyers, you know, it's not a pleasant call sometimes. So this was like, okay, cool. I'm going on live on the Elektra Yao show. So this is really nice. You know.
I take that as a compliment because most lawyers are super one-dimensional, and I really strive to enrich all aspects of my life. I'm particularly interested in art and performance. So I take that as a compliment. I know most lawyers, the old generations of lawyers is very different from me and how I practice law and how I interact with clients. So it's definitely a compliment that the experience you're having with me is not like those old lawyers.
Well, I like your work. I appreciate your work. And so it's good to be here by fate. So
thank you.
Yes.
Lucas, tell us where you're from, what you do, what you play, where you hang out, and a fun fact about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. Yeah, I'm Lucas. I'm a saxophone player from Germany. And I'm studying in Stuttgart, like in the south of Germany. And yeah, I hang out in Germany, play like the local clubs here, and play the tenor saxophone, and I lead my own band. So I'm a composer too, and write the songs for my own quartet. And yeah, fun fact about me. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, you guys were talking about New York. Like I was there one time, but it was like when I was, I think, 12 or 13, and I had no contact with jazz whatsoever. So that's a sad story, but I hope to be there soon. So like after, yeah, and to hang out there. Yeah.
Well, I'm a New Yorker. I wasn't born in New York, but I've been here for a really long time, since I moved back from Europe. And I hope that we can transmit this New York energy of hustling and trying to be the best version of yourself and doing as much as you can and always saying yes to opportunities, never saying no. So I hope I can transfer all that energy to you and you can import it in your quartet and with your friends and with your studies. So I'm very, very glad to have you and to learn about your perspective about jazz in Germany.
Yeah, thanks.
Last but not least, Chloe, tell us where you're from, what you do, what's your performance style, and a fun fact about yourself.
So thank you for having me first. So I'm French, as you can hear, like I have difficulty hiding it. I moved in New York 8 years ago to follow my jazz passion, because for me, New York is like the Mecca. It's the best place in the world to play jazz. And so my styles, I have two bands. I have one band is more like composition, more modern jazz and French songs, and we put it in jazz. And the second band is a swing band, 20s to 40s song in French and English as well.
So you sing in both French and English?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's super neat. I didn't know that jazz allowed that. Although I do not. You guys are experts in jazz, so I'm fully ignorant on the technicalities of jazz. But when I think of jazz, I think of probably the stereotype like big band players. I didn't even know that you could sing in different. I didn't know. I thought that all international singers or performers usually followed the American style big band.
No, I think it's enough American amazing singer. I need to show my my little touch is singing in French. Like you have a bunch of American singer actually who sang in French, like Blossom Derry, Ellen Merrill, Eartha Kitt. They all sang in French.
Oh
so
wow!
You can find like French version of jazz standards, and you can steal as well, and do my own composition as well, and do a mix between French song, American song, American standard in French.
Mm-hmm. So like a really interesting fusion.
Yeah, for me, jazz is really large. Like you have Latin jazz, free jazz. Like jazz is really a lot of different things. So
which brings me to my first question. What is jazz? What is that jazz sound? Lucas, do you want to tell us what jazz means to you?
Yeah, of course. So I like what grew me to jazz was like playing in like a school band, and we had like a big band at school, and our teacher, he was like a old German guy who was like, check out those guys, Americans, like, and handed me records. So that was really fortunate to have him. So, and I was very excited about this and listened to the records and stuff. And then I don't know, I listened to a lot of different music, and all of it was like in that jazz and improvisational lane. So, and that excited me, and I think that's what jazz is for me. So like a freedom of what you do, like musically and stylistically. It's like not only like I like playing swing and standards and traditional and big band and stuff, but I think you can choose and you can play different gigs. Like in 1 week you can play like a funk gig, soul gig, a standard gig, and big band music and your own composition, and it's all jazz. So I think that's what excites me about it. So yeah.
Right. The I guess the versatility of jazz being a lot of different things at the same time. Alan,
Yeah.
what is the jazz sound to you? What do you think of when you think of jazz or when you perform jazz?
Jazz is a word. Used to mean sexual intercourse, you know.
I didn't.
Right? But it's the music of the spirit, and the spirit of African American people, of our people, you know. And it's amazing, you know. He's in Germany, and it's a world music. It's a world music, you know. American music, you know. It's a world music. For me, it's my life. It's my life. You know, it's my life. And but it's a beautiful thing to see, you know, people from all over the world. You know, I've been in it for 30 years. I played with the greatest, probably one of the greatest jazz musicians for a long time, Jackie Mclean, for your audience. I was his piano player.
Can you explain who Jackie Mclean is for people who may not be familiar?
You could. Oh man, we're gonna need another show. You don't need another show. I think the sax player might be hip, but he's like okay, about the greatest artist, right, in jazz, right? You might know. I don't know who you know. Duke Ellington.
Yes.
Okay, Duke Ellington. Miles Davis. You
heard
of Miles? Okay. I'm gonna make a stretch here. Bud Powell. You heard of Bud Powell?
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Parker. Okay, well,
yes,
he was raised by those guys. He was raised by those guys, and he became one of the greatest innovators on the saxophone. just on the saxophone and his composing. And but he's also the founder of jazz education. He's like the founder of it, And so I was lucky that I met him, and he took me under his wing, and I was his assistant for about 15 years. I knew him for 20 years. I played in his band for 15 years. I was his principal pianist. And so, yeah, it's my life, teaching the music, performing the music, but it's a lifestyle. It's a way of life, Artists, we want to make the world a better place. That's where the spirit of this music comes from, Now we have music business, entertainment law and all this stuff. But if you look at the essence of this music, it's the spirit of the people, of the real people. And so it goes beyond race. It goes beyond culture. The fact that we can have musicians, we can go all over the world and we can hit, we can play this music. And what it is what Lucas was talking about was the freedom. And I think that's what attracts the world, and the intellectual freedom that you have as an artist. It's always different. So there's a place for everybody. So I think that's why it's the world music. It's become the world music. It's really the world music. And you can't limit it to just, you could say jazz, you could say it's the world music or the music of the spirit, because everyone has one of those.
Yeah.
I totally agree. It's a way of communicate. When I moved to New York, the fun story is I didn't speak English. And I was hiring my band, and I was like doing like band thing, and we understand each other musically.
Right.
And they even make list of funny stuff I was saying, like who was not really English, to make fun of me in a nice way. And now they are like my brothers, so I don't take it bad at all. But it was funny because I was able to play, get gigs without speaking like 5 words of English. Yeah. My English was really bad, but musically we was able to understand each other, like the feeling, this thing, and the people was understanding what I wanted to communicate, even if they didn't understand what I was saying between songs. So it was
right on.
It was cool. Yeah.
Right on.
So why and how is jazz different from other types of music? I understand that it's universally a type of music that allows you, just like you said, Alan, to have intellectual freedom. It's a genre of music that allows different people of different backgrounds to connect. But is there anything else that makes it different and special for you guys? Chloe?
For me, it's deeper. It's really something will make my heart beat, and it can touch. And I don't like the way of now people saying jazz is something for intellectual. I really fight against that, to be honest. And I try to make my album really accessible to everyone, because for me, jazz is a popular music. It was a popular music. It was a music to dance. And I like the fact it's so open. You go from really simple to really complicated, but it touches everyone, and in a different level. And I see it with the kids around, like when I put jazz at home and all of that, it can touch anyone. Like I'm living, and I got married during the pandemic, so now I have 2-step kids, and so they was not used to hear jazz all day long. It's because of me, they have to, because I put it all the time. And now the little one, like, can I hear Ella Fitzgerald? And I feel happy, because before she was only listening Billie Eilish. So I open, and they're really open to it. Like, I think it's really the music of her heart to me.
Right.
So we have before we move on to Alan and to Lucas, we have a couple of comments. Osei Kweku said it's popular because it's wholly human.
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And someone, Simone Nagata, thank you, or Simon Nagata, thank you for watching. He's asked, can they give us a sample of their music? So if anybody wants to improvise. If not, I totally understand.
I'm on some Jackie Mclean records, and you can go to unitedmusicscience.com. But you might know this tune. I'll just play the intro. Now name that tune.
I think it's around
Bible, right?
Around midnight, right?
That's right, man.
Yeah.
You've been to church. You know the Bible. Yeah, that's the Bible of jazz. That's Thelonious Monk. I'm not here to play, but you can go to United Music Science. We do unitedmusicscience.com. We have live streams there, and we're having performances. And actually, some of our teaching artists are performing at the Williamsburg Music Center, and you can go to their website on Facebook. And so we have a team. We have Facebook groups, you guys. So we have a community. It's unitedmusicscience.com. So all of you can go in there. It's free. All right. We actually have a jazz piano summit with like 9 of the greatest jazz piano players of this generation, and so that's happening April 30th. So you guys can get there. Okay, it's on our website, and that's going to be exciting. It's going to be like a month long. It's going to be a lot of music. You're going to hear all the hip shit today, all of that stuff. All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Chloe, what's the name of your CD?
So this one is the last one. I have 2 online you can find. It's French rock jazz band, Petite Fleur. So this one is a swing, like 20s to 40s song. And I have another one you can find everywhere online as well, Cœur de Française, we're all in French. And we're like, what is saying? Saying the comments at the same time.
The Simon said, thanks, Bap. I used to like jazz. Thank you, Yao.
Thanks, Simon. Come on,
jazz.
You used to like jazz. What do you mean? Has? I used to like jazz too. I love it.
You can find both of my album poetry.net or Spotify or all the platforms. And I do a lot of live show on my Instagram or Facebook as well, and post video all the time. So.
Okay, so before we wrap up at the end of the hour, just everybody will give their social media links so we can so everyone can connect with you and download your music and connect with you. Do you guys have a favorite performance memory? Lucas?
No, I don't know if there's one favorite. Like there were many great experiences, like everywhere, like with the audience and with the musicians on stage too. And I think there were gigs like when there were no things planned, or was just like jam sessions always are great. Like when you don't know the people very well and you become friends afterwards, and like you create this thing like in a moment, like you go up there on the stage and just play a tune, everybody knows it, and it's just great, and the people understand the music, and I think that's like the best thing. So I always like when there's a gig and there are people there, so
right.
to like to play for the people and let them take part in the, like you said it, like the spirit and like this feeling of like jazz, like the history and all of that good stuff. Yeah.
Chloe, do you have a favorite performance?
Yeah, I have a lot of favorites, but the one I'm thinking right now is my release party for my album in October. I play at the Cutting Room in New York, and it's a really beautiful, huge room. So I was really scared, really stressed, and my band is just amazing because they all like stick with me. I was all in the as a jazz musician down there, you have to do everything. So I was advertising and all of that, and so they helped me like come back to the music. And I was lucky enough that the room is huge room was packed, and I didn't expect that because I was doing whatever I can to pack the room, and the room was packed. Everybody was so warm and energetic. The place was beautiful. The sound was amazing. So everything was there. It's like everything was really there, and it was kind of magical. I had my favorite musician around me. They all play like amazing. So I love my musician. For me, it's really a teamwork. It's not like the singer and the musician one. It's really a teamwork. With them, I'm nothing. Without them, I mean, without them, I'm nothing because they carry me. Like when they all play amazing, I sing better. So for me, it's just like it was really like really a beautiful teamwork, and the public was really warm and received it really well. So I was crying at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Besides the pressure and the emotion, it was like it was my favorite show. And even the place, like the first time, the place gave me more money than I was supposed to get. First time in my life ever.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I loved your show. We want you back, so we give you more money. And I was like, it's the first time ever. So I love those people too. I'm really grateful for their support. They were super nice. They didn't put pressure because the ticket was not selling fast in the beginning. So it was amazing. I hope they'll reopen soon.
I love how you talked about the collaborative aspect of jazz. I feel like sometimes, especially when you're in America or when you're in New York specifically, we're so focused on the individual, we're so focused on the lead that we sometimes forget that there's lots of really important things that happen in the world due to collective effort. And just like you acknowledged, you know, you wouldn't be anywhere without your band because of, you know, the sound that they create to carry you. I feel the same way about my team. And I think it's really important to note that team, that collaborative effort, that every musician and singer is like a different piece of that car, right? Like a car cannot move forward if you don't have the steering wheel, the brakes. And I loved how you described your experience with your
and I'm not really directive as a leader. Like I think you have two different type of leader. People who really know what they want and they really want that and are really directive. I'm the opposite. I'm taking musician I love and who understand what I'm doing, and I let them free. And usually they bring me somewhere else. So they know what I want, and I play with them a long time, so they really know what I want, and they know what I like, and they respect my universe, even if they all play in a bunch of different bands, because it's New York, like they can play everything. And but they bring something else, and it's what I like, because they bring me something else that maybe I didn't think about it, and I'm going there, and so we all complete each other to me. And it's for that I don't like to be too directive. I rather like I had some talk with my musician when they have sub, and I was like, I don't like this one. It's really nice, but it's you can direct them. So no, I don't like it. I like to someone who understand me and is going to feel free in the thing that I'm creating, and because it brings me somewhere else. And I like surprise. Like jazz is improvisation, so it's always a surprise. Like we play like 500 times the same song, but it's never exactly the same. We change all the time. And what I like with my musician, when you have like a deep connection with them, it's like suddenly you can change something and they know it and they change it and they follow you, and I can follow them as well in something a little different, or sometimes they change the rhythm. They surprise me, like we trick each other. It's a game as well. It's like when we really connected, we can have like a lot more fun doing it. And I think the fun we have, like communicate, and people have fun as well watching.
And they enjoy watching you.
Yeah.
Alan, what's your favorite performance?
Ooh, I got two. The first one was I was a teenager. I snuck in the club, and McCoy Tyner came in. Came in and took me to heaven, played the whole spirit. And that's when I was like, okay, I got to get that feeling, that feeling he gave, you know, the energy that he gave. It was like the Holy Ghost, you know. It was a spiritual feeling. If musicians might know about it, you know, if you get that spirit, she's talking about it, and you guys know that feeling, you know, when everything is right. But that was a memorable performance because that was a turning point because I wanted to play, you know, really play, dedicate myself. And I say the last memorable performance I'm always looking for my next performance. That's probably the right attitude, you know, instead of looking back. But I would say the last gig I did with Jackie, it was in Lebanon. It was before all this, you know, and before they had the wars and stuff over there. It was a period, and we played at this Temple of Baalbek. It was built by the Romans, you know, and we played, and we didn't know it was going to be our last hit, you know, but it was such a vibe, you know, that tour and then going to that place and playing with him, but it ended up to be our last hit together, you know, so it's very memorable, you know. So yeah, but my next hit is going to be memorable. Our next hit, absolutely. You know?
I love that you're always that you said you're always on the search for that next best gig. It's that maybe creative people feel this because before I became a lawyer, I was an actress, but I'm always searching for something. I don't know how to describe it. I'm always telling my husband and my team that, you know, there's just, you know, sometimes you walk around and you feel like you're a unicorn. I don't know if you guys feel that. You just feel like you're different. And sometimes, you know, I always say, you know, sometimes I'm just living in my head and I'm always on the search for something better, something sweeter, something stronger, something more picante. I'm always on that constant journey to figure out better ways and more intelligent ways and more creative ways to do things. And I think that's how creative people are. There's this innate dissatisfaction, but not in a negative way, right? Dissatisfaction that propels you forward to constantly be out there, to not be complacent with your work. And that's probably why, for example, you, Chloe, you moved from France to the US. What's jazz like in France?
That was great.
Player, but the scene is very small and it's really how can I say that in a nice way? It's very close, like it's very hard to get in. They like a really special type of jazz, like you have to be kind of intellectual and so I didn't really fit in. To me, I was my first album worked really well in France, but more for the peoples and for the jazz community. They begin to really respect me after New York, actually. It's kind of funny. In New York, what I love, it's like it's super open. Like everybody wants to play everything. They're not like judging because you bring something different at all. They're curious. And it's what I love. Like it was like in Paris when I did my first album, it was like, really, but nobody's going to sell album anymore. Why are you doing that? You're losing your time. Like it's really, but it's Parisian too. Like everybody loves to complain. It's like a national sport there. So in New York, people are really enthusiastic, as you were saying earlier. It's really energetic, like and people push you. Like in the beginning, I'm kind of shy, and in New York, it's great because when you propose something, everybody, oh yeah, great, let's do it, and it's like, really, like okay, cool. So it's push you like be better and better and better, and the level of jazz in New York is so high, and you always have new people copying who are better and better. So you kick your ass all the time to be able to. Sorry for my language, but
no.
To be able to improve all the time, because if you don't improve all the time, you're dead. You don't survive in New York. So you have no choice.
That's why I love
if you make it in New York, you can go back home and you'll be making it.
Yeah, but
you make it in New York, you can make it. If you're a musician, you're a jazz musician, you know, you gotta. If you can make it in New York, you're cool.
Before we go on to Alex, I saw you saying that jazz in Paris was great. I just want to shout out to Emanuela, who's watching from Italy. She said, hi, all of you. Greetings from Italy. We really love jazz music. Emanuela is also she's a jazz singer also from Italy. So thank you so much, Emanuela, for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So do you agree or disagree with Chloe, Alan,
What do you
about
mean?
the music scene in France or the jazz scene in France?
Well, I went over there with Jackie Mclean. I went over there with Roy Hargrove. I went over there with
Oh, Roy Hargrove, I love him.
artists. I went over there. I mean, I went over there I was already in New York. I made it in New York because, so going over there
was really well received.
she's got to come. That's why musicians come to New York. You got to, that's why I eventually I went to New York, but I was brought to New York. So, yeah, it was, but they love the music anywhere. Like they love the music worldwide. Like you go to Japan, they got statues to Art Blakey. They got architecture around Oscar Peterson. You go down the airport and you look up and he's on the top of a skyscraper. They had to plan that. They don't do that shit here. This music's been bastardized because of greed and racism. And, and this music is the most, it's the freest thing that America is, the hippest shit we got. That's why everybody comes around the music, because it's that feeling. It's that real feeling,
I think it's also exotic stuff. Like I'm not so exotic in France, but in New York I was exotic, so people was attracted by that. I was doing something different, and I was different accent and a different way of singing and different. So
they're not hip over there. The musicians are not as hip as New Yorkers over there because they didn't create the music. So you come here, and of course we're going to embrace you because that's how we do. That's the way this music. That's the spirit of the music.
But it's what I love.
So that's why we teach at the Institute. We teach the real deal, But I don't disagree with her to answer your question. Of course not. I'm actually applauding her because she loves this music so much that she's here and chasing her dream. And hats off to all of you, because this music is a lifelong journey, and it'll test you. It'll test you. See how much you really love it. Yeah, it'll test you. And it's not so much, you get a whole bunch of people in the club. It's going to test you to get to that feeling that you're talking about.
No, and it's a feeling you're talking about, then you get addicted. It's when everything is working, like the music is there, the public is there, everything is there. Like we get like I don't know how to express it even, like you get like something in your body, and like you feel like you're planning. Like I love the animation movie Soul because of that, because you are in different atmosphere when everything is working. And I'm super shy, and when everything is working, I'm not shy at all, like because I'm somewhere else, and I love the sharing with my goal. What I'm doing is like I like to make people happy, so I'm doing mostly I have some sad song, but mostly it's like I want to make them travel. I want to make them forget their problem. Like for me, this is jazz and music. It's like to transport the people somewhere else, even without taking a plane. and like that, they out of the real life for 2 hours, because their real life is, I love life, but it's hard. So, and it got harder with the pandemic. So, and it's what I miss the most, like, is the contact with the public and the contact with the musician, with the band, like not just one or two musicians, like it's what I miss the most since the beginning of the pandemic, to be honest, because the togetherness is what I love.
Lucas, how is the jazz scene in Germany pre-pandemic and now during the pandemic?
Okay. So pre-pandemic, I think, or in general, I think jazz scene is great. It's like we have like Berlin is like the biggest of the jazz scenes because it's the biggest city, and there's like everything, like every style of music, like especially like crazy modern contemporary free stuff, and then we have like few other cities like Hamburg, Cologne, Munich, and Stuttgart are like few like smaller cities, like, and we have like clubs here, and we have people that hear jazz and people that play jazz, so it's great. So that's what you need, I think. So
do you think that eventually you might take the leap like Chloe and go to maybe a bigger city than Stuttgart? Maybe go to Paris or New York or DC? Or do you think that you might continue to play in Stuttgart?
I don't know. So I have like 1.5 years of studies left in Stuttgart, and I will do that for sure. And I'm happy now, but maybe I will be looking in the future what comes. And I think it's cool to come around and visit other places and other people and other cities, especially. So there's a different vibe, and I don't know, but there's still jazz, so that's the thing that I'm looking for in other cities, maybe. Yeah. And like now the situation in Germany is like really bad. So like with COVID, like since, I don't know, for 4 or 5 months now, there have been no like concert with audience, and that's in all of Germany. And yeah, there are like live stream concerts and stuff. And yeah, we are in lockdown like for 4 months actually, like. And yeah, but we are doing live streams, and we can like practice and keep it up and listen to music, and that's the only way right now. So yeah.
How has the pandemic affected jazz musicians and people who appreciate jazz? Are you still able to perform with the same intensity? Are people still coming to see and hear you, even though it's possibly live streamed?
I think the people, they really love jazz. They are coming to the live streams, and they are appreciating it more, like very big, because they have no place to go to see live music. And they are like, oh, thanks for the live stream. It was really great to hear music again, like live in like a different situation. But I think it was always great to like play outdoors or play in a club in the city, and just people walking by and like seeing this thing and coming in and drinking something or sitting down and hang out, like that's missing. So you don't hang around at a live stream and walk by and hear like jazz music and say, oh, what's that? Let me look at it. So I think that's missing. But the jazz fans, if you could call them that, they are like really appreciating the live stream stuff, and like, don't know, making records and selling them. They are really like, oh, this is great. We need this right now, because they want to hear live music too, and we want to play it. So that's cool. Yeah.
Alan, what's your experience with how COVID or the pandemic has affected jazz and performing?
Oh, it's the biggest hit. You know, it's changed everything. You know, because the music's about playing together. You know, and being together. So this virus thing is, you know, it's totally anti-jazz. You know, jazz is about freedom. We're stuck in the crib. Jazz is about, you know, people getting together. We can't get together. You know, and we're in this shit, and it's can I curse on here? I'm sorry.
Yes, of course.
Okay, all right. It's a mess. It's fucked up. You know, it's messed up. You know, so we're adapting. You know, You know, and we have a school. We have an online school. So we're building a community. So we're adapting. But I think that the music's not going anywhere, of course, because it's music of the spirit. You know. But yeah, we're in a change. You know, the music is against this. You know, these forces that keeping people apart. You know, this music has always been an answer against oppression and greed and racism. And you can't limit to just jazz. You know, because jazz, that word didn't even come along. So it's all the music, you know. It's all the music. So yeah, I'm optimistic. We're working hard. We have, you know, at the Institute, and we're doing the live streams and trying to find resources for our musicians and for our community, you know. So yeah, thank you for having us on the show.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Great.
applaud your work, Elektra. You know, I just get to watch you sometimes, and I always learn something.
Thank
Because,
you.
you know, artists, you know, it's a, we don't know, and you seem to be balancing it. So you're an artist in the law, you know, so it's great. So it's great to be on your show and your work and meet these great artists, Chloe and Lucas, you know, and hopefully we're going to get through this. You know, it's a great time for us to practice.
Yeah.
And get our spirits together, align our spirits, you know, and a lot of the shit that's not here needed to go. So a lot of it was around the music, it needed to go. So, you know, hopefully we can bring the good, you know, good right to it, you know. So that's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we move on to Chloe, yeah, I thank you so much for the kind words. As an attorney, my goal is to really help artists understand the business of the arts. There's no reason why in 2021 you need to be a starving artist. There are absolute mechanisms, techniques, and strategies that you can utilize to be a profitable artist. During the pandemic, when there was the big lockdown in New York, I closed my office for 5 months, and I represent all artists. That's what I'm known for, and nobody was working. And I know how hard it is as a creative person to be stifled by situations. And in this case, the pandemic was an external situation that nobody could change. So I created I created this small show called Art to Art, where I would just interview artists, talk to them about, you know, how they're doing during the pandemic, what creative mechanisms they're utilizing to keep up the morale and keep up the spirit, because that's how artists are. Artists need to be, they're like, you know, ants. They need to always be moving and doing something and be occupied with their work. But COVID, the big lockdown that we had in New York was very, very bad. But I'm glad to be here with all of you, because in May, I'm going to be starting my new series called Ask an Artist. And I hope all of you guys can join and share your tips on how you guys have made it in your industry, and how the younger generation can learn and can improve upon, can improve the profession. That's one of my goals as an attorney, to support minority women, to support women who want to be attorneys, because it's very difficult to find, at least in New York City, where I'm from and where I practice, minority women who run their own practices, who are not only in a leadership role, but in a very important role to support their clients, but also to lead their communities, whatever those communities are. So I think that, just like you said, getting practice, being live, figuring out strategic partnerships. Like, you know, you met Lucas, and, you know, Lucas seems to really know a lot about the musicians that you performed with. And maybe you guys can organize like a live stream. Like, this is what my goal is, to have, you know, people connect, keep that morale up, because we're going to get out of this. We just need to continue to find creative solutions, to continue to exercise our creative muscles and not let them die. Because for example, I'm a depressive person. That's just how I am naturally. I always need to be doing something. So if I am like this, I imagine my clients are just like me. They need to be doing something to keep that muscle, that creative muscle, curious, expanding, growing. That's why I always tell people, make mistakes, fail faster, say yes. This is what you should be doing in your career, because you never know what's going to happen, who you're going to meet, what you're going to see, the experiences you're going to have, how you'll open up as a flower.
Faces you'll see. Your faces.
The new smells you'll smell. I'm very influenced by New York, because over here, it's like a theater performance when you're walking down the street. I mean, more so in the past, pre-pandemic. Walking down the street in New York is being a part of a show. It's infectious. You want to be a part of the New York spirit. And that's why I think so many artists and musicians gravitate to the city. Lucas was mentioning jam sessions, and I thought of I have a client who's very shy, like you, Chloe, but she has managed to perform with all the top jazz musicians in New York. And she is this, you know, regular girl just like us. And she would go, and I asked her, you know, we'll call her Maria. I can't reveal her name. Maria, how did you get to perform with these guys? And she said, I'd go every day. And then one day somebody's like, you know what, Maria, come up on stage. And from then on, it was done.
Right.
and she introduced me to this whole idea and concept of jam sessions, and how a jam session is actually conceptually like a performance.
Yeah, it is. It's harder because you don't know anyone and you don't know what you're going to play. So it's harder than a performance, but it's exciting. Like, and you meet a lot of different people, so you have nice surprise. I love that. I love that as well.
That's her favorite thing to do as a musician, is to do her jam sessions. Chloe, what has your experience been during the pandemic as a singer?
For me, it was a nightmare. Like, for me and the people I'm working with, was a nightmare, because I was beginning, like, I was working a lot. I was beginning to book other bands. I was going to open my company to book other bands as well, not just mine. So 2019 for me was the best year I ever had in New York, because I was booking myself, booking all my friends. And I love to give work to musicians because I know how hard it is. So I was like managing, like, to I have a bunch of clients, everything. I was doing LA, New York all the time. My boyfriend, who is now my husband, live here. So I was beginning to create like something in LA as well, and having another band here. And so everything was doing great. And starting March 14, everything fell down. Like, I lost like, I don't know, 100 gig, a tour, a recording session, like everything fell down. And as you know, as naturally, I'm under O1 visa, so I cannot have unemployment. So I got saved by Jazz Foundation. Actually, I got a few grants. I got the Louis Armstrong Foundation. I got like, so who helped me like figure out what I can do. And I was performing a lot, so I was not teaching. So it was hard to suddenly say, oh, I'm teaching now, because most people was going directly with their teacher. So I teach a tiny bit. I'm still teaching kids to sing in French sometimes, 2 times, but it's just, for me, it was a nightmare, because I'm like you, I like when it's moving, when it's going, like creative stuff. So in the beginning, like, my husband told me, like, okay, play in front of the house, like, do something, because you're getting crazy, so do something. So I began to sing by myself, like, with no band. I had the tracks of my album. So I was singing with the track of my album in front of the house, and it was hard, because singing by myself with no musician was super hard, but the people around was super happy. So I began doing it for the people around. I was doing live on the Facebook as well. And so now all my neighbors love me, so I see. And I got some gigs in People Garden, actually, thanks to that. But after a while, I was tired to play by myself. So COVID was getting a bit better in LA. It was a different timing. So I began to bring the band in front of the house. So and I had swing dancer on the street. So we were sitting chair at social distance to keep the safety stuff. And then COVID got super bad here, and so I stopped doing it. And we did I got hired for the Queen's Library. We did a Christmas show in the garage. So we built a jazz club in the garage. Like, we repainted, put red curtain, like, tried to do like. So we did some live streams there. We did a music video. So I was doing a distance video with all my musicians. And after a while, I was like, it was getting too long for me, and I miss the contact. And so I was like, okay, I got a bit depressed, to be honest. And I was like, okay, I need to open my skill. And so since last September, I'm doing life coaching class. So I'm going to pass my certification right now. Because I cannot stay still. And for me, it was like, okay, I'm sure I have other people like me, so I want to help them. And so I was doing life coaching in the past with acting. I'm an actress as well, with acting skill and stuff. And I was like, okay, I want to go deeper in that. I need to learn something. I cannot stay still. And so, and as I'm getting down, I get back like singing job, like 2 musicians from New Orleans asked me to sing song for them. I don't know them. Like, they find me and say, oh, I first translate a song in French for them. Then after say, oh, I like your voice. Can you sing 4 songs? So I build a a studio in my closet. Like you get, as you say, you get creative. You get like, okay, where I can record that. Okay, let's buy a mic and interface, and I'm doing that in the closet. And so I put but no one else, like you do whatever you can. You have pillows, blankets on the wall. But you have to stay creative, and but I'm like you, I need to be busy. So I the life coaching class was super intense. It's a lot of hours of class, so it was great because I was doing that and creating music on the side. And so now I want to do both, actually. Because the fact that we don't know how long this thing is going, like I see the lights, like I begin to see like some places contacting me like, oh, we may reopen this summer, like are you around? But we don't know what's going on. This was the hardest for me, is like the not knowing, not being able to plan, like say, oh, because before I was LA, New York, I knew when I was going there, so I was booking in there. Like it was like a big organization, but I was jungling, but it was great. And now I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to play with musicians again exactly. I have like one driving gig in July. They build a driving, so this I'm sure even if COVID is bad, it's going to happen. But it's 2 hours away, and it's amazing. But it's amazing. I'm super happy about it. But it's everything can get canceled at the last minute as well. Like nothing is stable anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of pivoting that you've done, which is amazing. Which leads me to my next question. Where do you guys see your careers going? And where do you see jazz? How do you see jazz evolving? Alan?
That's a good answer, Chloe. Chloe, good for you. I just want to say that, it's always going to evolve, but the business side, the industry, and all of that stuff, like I said, around the music is changing, and a lot of that needs to go. So good for you guys for staying vigilant, because that's what we have to do. And do me a favor, please join the Institute, Chloe. We actually, and Lucas, join the United Music Science. You can go to the website, because that's what we want to do. Part of what our mission is, we're linking up with people worldwide, and trying to build a community, really. We're a school, but we're really about building a community. So it's great that you've got very agile, and that's what we all have to do. Learn new skills. I had to. I'm learning, new skills. So, but the music's gonna come back. We're gonna be hitting. We're gonna be playing. We're gonna be back in New York. And it's gonna come back. It's not gonna go. The energy's not gonna go nowhere. It's just we have to get better. We have to improve. The scene was a lot of was jaded up. Was some things. Like I said, things got to change. So.
No, it's also a lot of good improvement. I agree with you. Like some, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be more human, more open. Like as a woman in the jazz world was not easy, by example, and I feel it's more support right now.
Yes,
it's more open. It was like when I moved in New York was really even in Paris it was worse. Really macho, like. Some musicians have hard time having a woman leader. I'm not talking about mine; they're all amazing, but but I had some like, okay, I'm dealing with that, or as all women can say, oh yeah, you come tonight, maybe you got a gig, or like in the beginning it was like, okay, I wish sometime I'm a big fat ugly man like that I can get the gig because I'm good and not because the way I look. Like all of that, I hope it changed, and now we're all more focused on the humanity, and everything happened during the pandemic, the Black Lives Matter, all of that. I like to make it more like all together and not like looking at if you're a woman, a man, a different color. When I choose my musician, I don't care how they look. I just take them because of what I feel when they're playing.
Now that's the power of jazz right there, Elektra. That's the power, because the music wasn't supposed to lead the plantation. The people weren't supposed to. It was supposed to. Is a byproduct of the whole American thing, and it's the end of the music wasn't supposed to leave the plantation. And you heard what she just said. It's the spirit of bringing people together, especially right now. Especially right now, you know.
As the jazz spirit strengthened during
absolutely,
COVID?
absolutely. I know we've strengthened. We're strengthening, you know, because the music. I mean, when you think about it, you know, with this pandemic, we're gonna get through this. If you look at where the music's been and where it's gone today, now it's at a point where it can bring people, the world together. Because, like I said, it wasn't supposed to leave the plantation.
So where do you guys see
economics of the whole thing that started that? This pandemic is part of that shit. This greed and racism, you know, and it's, you know, and so the music, we can't see that, right? You can't see a B flat if I hit G. You can't play that, but you can feel it, you know. You know, you can feel it. You know, because music is, we are music. It's our spirit. In our school, we've developed a whole music theory where it's, you know, we're all, like the scientists have proven, we're waveforms. We're waveforms, you know, we're cosmic chords. So yeah, keep singing, you guys. Keep singing, playing. I hope to see you guys join the Institute, please.
Yeah.
And Elektra, you are our attorney with the Institute, whether you like it or not. You are. Unless till you fire me. Please, we need your help big time. The work you're doing is so important.
My goal and my mission. I mean, I'm obsessed with art. I grew up my parents are immigrants. My mom is from Italy. My dad is from Cote d'Ivoire. My dad came to New York to study music at NYU. My mom studied photography at FIT. My sister is a classically trained musician. She's a country singer and musician actually in Nashville. So music and art, and I did acting and experimental theater and musical theater until I became a lawyer. So art is something that is so ubiquitous to me. It's transformative, and unfortunately it's underrated, but we're right now in this really transformative place because a lot of it is due to COVID. We've got NFTs coming out. We've got, you know, this hybrid way of performing and understanding music, and there's a lot that can be done, and there's a lot to do. We need even more creative energy to be able to overcome this COVID. But I think that in order to really overcome COVID successfully, you still need to have strategy, and that's where I come in as the attorney, right? Strategy, tact, and goals. So who do you guys, and this is what I tell all my clients, who do you guys want to be when this is done? Like if something were to happen to you tomorrow, how do you want to be remembered? So I'll ask you, Lucas, who do you want to be once you're done with school, once you're done with COVID? Where do you see your career going?
I don't know, like after COVID, just making music for people and bringing them together after the crisis. I don't know. I think music, and especially jazz music, is something that the people will understand more or appreciate more after COVID. It's like the thing I miss right now, and it's, I think they appreciate it more after this thing. Yeah. And yeah, I want to play saxophone live and make music. Like that's all of it. I think. Yeah. I think.
What about you, Alan? What do you see for the Institute post-COVID?
Bringing people together, bringing us together, you know, the music, just like Lucas was saying, and, you know, it's gonna win. We're gonna win, you know, we're gonna be back together. Like I said, we're gonna be better. You know, I think it's an opportunity for musicians to empower themselves and to get out of the bullshit of the industry. Puts a lot of bullshit around this music, and it's like, I'll tell you a story, okay? If I got time. But you know, you ever heard of Blind Tom Bethune? This is where the music industry started. Well, he was a slave, right? He was a free slave. and they put him on the auction block, and they just gave him away, right? Because he was fine. What's he gonna do, right? So he's in the house one day, and the slave master's daughters was taking classical music, piano, and learning all the great music and all that music, taking lessons. And he's just sitting there, 3 years old. He's listening to it growing up. He's 3. One day he wobbles to the piano and he's playing everything back, right? That's magic. That's the magic of the music. This music is, you can absorb it. It's out here, you know? And so it's a great thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a great thing. But, you know, the industry fucks it all up. They mess it all up. You know, they mess it all up. I mean, you know, you look at it, I mean, that's when a lot of this, I mean, it doesn't mess it up because we have to have that balance of art and commercialism. I want to see that. We want to see that with this music, you see, because it's, you know, he was a slave, but he made more money for, that's all the Master D became his manager, you dig? But that's kind of like that story is, you know, there's we have to change we have to find that balance. So to bring this balance of humanity together. And I think that, you know, we're fighting right now. You know, there's a lot of shit going on and all this craziness, and people are scared and people losing their minds and all this, you know, and we can say, okay, it's good we're in the crib, we can share it. But the world's going crazy a little bit. So it's like, we're going to get through this, and jazz is going to bring us together, because it's always like that, you know. It's going to bring us together. It's going to be better. It's going to be way better. So I'm looking forward. Yeah. I mean, so yeah.
Chloe, who are you going to be after the pandemic?
I want to bring the magic, as you said, like bring people together, bring the magic back, help people, give love. Like I want to mix now that I have a new skill. I want to bring. For me, it's not far. It's like helping people feel better, and music do that. So life coaching, music, acting, for me, it's all people can think it's different, but for me, it's the same thing. It's just helping people like get some magic in their life and do what they really dream to do. The fact people see musicians follow their dream makes them want to follow dream as well. I think it's all it's like make it possible. Like you can do what you love and make a living with it. For me, it was that I want to prove I can do it. And to all the people who told me, like, you don't speak English, you French, nobody's going to care about you in New York. Like, I make it happen. I make a living in New York. I didn't expect it. I didn't know how. I was like 1 year of saving, and that's it. And it's like I stayed 8 years there. Now I'm in LA. I want to go back and forth as soon as it's possible back, because I miss New York badly. As you said, the energy, all of that, I need it. Like it's something, get addictive to it. And I really want to go back on stage because it's where I feel free and happy. It's we do that also. We do that for the people, but we do that also for us, because it makes us happy as well. It's not just we make people happy by making us happy in the same time. For me, it's really as I'll say, it's a feeling. Like it's to bring a feeling of something different. It's what I suffer, and I see people like fan and people suffer from. I have a bunch of actor friends, and the same. Like people suffer, so you don't see live show anymore. And now that the weather is better, I'm going to be back in front of the house for people to see live music outside, even if it's in outside. Like I don't care. I just want to bring. I'm going to bring the band and try to make music. And the hardest part right now is to try to make a living, because it's but hopefully it's coming. I see the light.
I see the light. I see your resilience. I see your creativity. I see your strategy. I think all of you guys are doing a great job of managing COVID and coming out not only as winners, but as people who have created something beautiful that basically came out of something negative like COVID. I think it's really because art and creativity is so emotional. Sometimes emotional reactions don't allow for strategic decision making, but all of you guys have overcome that. You've harnessed your love for your work, and you've been strategic to find ways to continue to serve your patrons, to continue to unite people with your music. We might not be physically united, but definitely through the Institute, teaching people and educating people and creating a community about jazz and jazz history and the importance of jazz is paramount right now. Chloe becoming a life coach, being certified, performing in front of your house, which I think is fantastic, by the way. You should make a documentary about that. That's a whole
a neighbor sent us the TV, the LA TV. They make a little thing about us. But yeah, it's just what you're saying is so right. And it's just COVID did bring us, like, because having a lot of gigs, after a while, it was like the giving. Now we know how rare it is and how lucky we are. Like, so it brings us, like, even loving it even more. Like, I did love it, but I was so busy sometimes you didn't have time to celebrate and enjoy it. And COVID did bring me that. Like, now each time I do something, I'm like, yeah. I learned to enjoy it and really, like, getting in and not just going perform and make people happy and forgot about myself, actually. So it's what I learned during that.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic, guys. We've been here for over an hour. We've had a lot of people watching throughout the live. So I want you guys to say goodbye. Please drop your websites and your social media links so that people can reach out to you and follow you and message you. For those of you who are watching, you guys know it's me, Elektra, immigration lawyer and entertainment lawyer here in New York City. I'm doing these roundtables for the rest of April. And in May, I'm going to be doing my Ask an Artist series. So Lucas, why don't you tell us your website, your social media, if you want to share it so people can reach out to you and hang out with you.
Yeah, okay. So Facebook works all the time. Just my name, Lucas, and it's Vögler. It's very, like, German. You don't need to say it. And then Instagram, it's like Lucas with K and then G-I. It's Lucas Woegi. And then 132. Like, very complicated. And then you can find my band on, like, Spotify and Bandcamp and stuff. And it's like just my name and then quartet. And we have an album and we have a live stream next week, actually, if you want to tune in. We're playing, like, a set of Coltrane's music. And yeah, it's gonna be on Facebook, and when you follow me, that's gonna be there. And yeah, thanks for
you really.
Yeah,
I'm log in, man. I'm logging in, Jim.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. Good.
Yeah. So thanks for inviting me again. It was a great experience. So, and all of you guys, it was great. Yeah.
Alan, your institute's website, your social media, how people can connect and help.
It's unitedmusicscience.com, and I hope it pops up. And I want you guys to all join, okay? Join and work together. Let's work together, okay? I'm really, one of the things that that musicians we all know, cats we all know, and especially the older cats, told us is that, and we live by it. We live by it. It's always live by it. Take care of the music. Take care of the music, and the music will take care of you. We have to put our faith in, just like where the ancestors that gave this music, and the music is spiritual, so it will take care of us. So hats off to you guys, and I hope that we can work together. You guys can join the Institute. We have the Jazz Piano Summit. We're doing stuff all the time. We have a couple of groups on Facebook. You can go on United Jazz Academy group. We're like 1,000-something members. We have United Institute of Music Science group, and we're over like 1,500 or something. So please join our community and keep doing your good work, you guys. Keep our musicians. keep it up. You know, take care of the music, and it will take care of us. It will take care of us.
Yeah.
I'm just posting your website in the chat. Not the chat, sorry, the comment section on Facebook. You too, Chloe. Chloe, where can people hang out with you, buy your album, collaborate with you?
So you can find all information on my website, chloeperrier.net. I just put it in the chat. So Perrier like the water.
Yeah.
And all my YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it's / Chloe Perrier Jazz. So you just add jazz. I make it simple. And you can find both of my album on everywhere. Instagram, Spotify, Deezer, Apple, everywhere you want to find it, Amazon. You can find both of them.
Got it. To all the panelists, do you guys have any parting words for our audience that's watching? Any advice you want to give to jazz supporters, jazz aficionados, how to get into jazz? If, let's say, someone is watching and they want to get into jazz, but they know nothing about jazz, who should they watch, listen, follow?
Oh, wow. We got another course, Elektra.
Yeah, we got
have another meeting with Lucas. He'll bring his saxophone and talk about Coltrane for an hour, and then Chloe will talk about all the great singers for another 2 hours. Then we'll be here. You know, it'll be an ongoing show. And so,
give us a Cliff Notes version.
The Cliff Notes version is listen to all the music, support all the music. You know, all the music. You know, there's no word for musician. We're all musicians. So the more you put yourself, if it's a live stream, it means a lot to us. If you're just there, you know, and you show up, you know, it means a lot, you know. And artists, Chloe and Lucas, we're all hustling, especially our team, the United Music Science team. We're working for our teaching artists, and so it really means a lot to us when you guys show up, you know, when you guys show up, you know. So join everybody's groups, you know. Please join our group. We are totally building a community, and we want everybody to join. And so please, and bring your talents. Like we're doing live streams. So I don't know if Chloe's going to be out in LA, if you're coming back to New York City.
Yeah,
but we're gonna have some. You are going to stay out there, right, for a minute. So we're doing the festival.
I come back to New York. I still have my place in New York, actually.
Oh, you're coming back? Yeah, I hear. Okay, well, I'll see you when you come back. You see, we'll be linked up. So, but Lucas, you know, like you guys join the institute, and let's share, and let's be together, you guys, through this.
Yes,
musicians, A game. You know, stay on the music.
I will add, like, just be curious. Like, check, put jazz on Spotify, on YouTube, and check. Like, I discovered a bunch of stuff, like putting, like, when I was looking for song for my last album, I was like 20 jazz songs, and you check and you're curious. And after, I can give you my favorite singers.
Yes.
So in the old style one, I love Blossom Derry, Eartha Kitt, Ella Fitzgerald for sure, Billie Holiday, like all of those. Like it's just like teaching. Like if you hear all the first amazing jazz singer, it's just like you listen class. Like they all have something. And I'm addicted to vinyl, so I even go in the vinyl shop and take singer I don't know, and I discover like a bunch of singer like that. And from the actual singer, I love Marianne Sullivan, New York scene, Tatiana Eva-Marie in New York as well, Sarah Lankman in France, Alexi Cole in New York. Like you have a bunch of, you can contact me, I can give you a list. Of singer I love, and jazz musician I love. After the guys are more good for that. But yeah. I love to listen like a bunch of different singers, and you can steal, like you're a stealer. You bring your own style, but you steal a little there, a little there, a little there, and you mix it, and it's like that you learn.
So we've been at this for a while, guys. I actually have to go, but you guys can continue without.
You muted, Elektra.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really want you guys to all come individually on my show, Ask an Artist. I want to continue this conversation and this dialogue because I think your energy and most importantly, your strategy is really, really important for artists to push through and move forward. But I actually have to go. I have to work.
Yeah, I gotta get back.
But it was
for having us.
Teaching.
Yeah, it was such a pleasure to be a part of this discussion with you guys. I'm so happy to have reached out to all of you. And let's all further connect beyond this. Let's not just say we're going to connect, but let's all continue to really support each other. Lucas, please email everybody your live streaming and let's support. Let's support the arts.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys in the institute, okay?
Yeah.
Chloe, we need some singing teachers, so I'll see you guys in there, and saxophone in Germany. So I'll see you guys in there. Thank you so much.
Man.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Elektra.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
So much. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
How did Mclean tell?